So, we're back. Last time we did my favorite Macintoshes, and this time we'll do the opposite, my least favorite Macintoshes. This list contains either some Macs I've worked on and didn't like, or that I have and don't like, and that I've seen that I don't like. And it's just my opinion, and don't feel offended if you have one of those, but it's just that, yeah, in my opinion, you just don't have such a great computer then. Also, again, like in the last video, I have it put into 3 categories: design and style category, serviceability category, that will be fun, and the value category. Serviceability, I can tell you right away, is not so great with modern Macs. Okay, let's start off with the design and style category. One Mac that I don't think looks really nice is the PowerBook G3. I think it looks bulky and just kind of bloated and old, especially when you compare it to like the PowerBook G4, which looks just like from a different dimension. It's crazy. So fight me all you want, but I think the PowerBook G3 looks pretty bad. The next one might surprise you because I created the world's first space gray version, the eMac. Now yes, for the eMac, which was built for schools and universities, design wasn't the most important thing, but generally speaking, I think it looks dull. It looks really boring and bulky, and from the side it looks like the CRT never ends because it's just a big white box, like maybe not box, but just a big white brick. And yeah, that's why I'm not a big fan of how the eMac looks. And I tried to improve its looks with my space gray version, which turned out pretty nice, and you guys also liked it. But generally, I can say eMacs, I don't like the design of them. Let's move on to some Macs, and I will definitely cause some controversy once again in my community here, but yeah, it's my opinion. I will start off, and I think a lot of people will agree, the Macintosh Color Classic. What in the hell is that? I mean, wow, it looks like a really ugly TV. Yeah. And it's just not even back then it was looking pretty nice in my opinion, but yeah, nowadays it's even worse. So Macintosh Color Classic, ooh, that one will definitely cause some controversy. I think the 20th anniversary Mac doesn't look good. I think it looks like a TV or monitor with a lot of big bezels. Yeah, that's my honest opinion. I know it's worth a lot, but I actually wouldn't want to own it. Not that I ever could get one of those, because I'm just not in the market for those. Alright, a pretty ugly duckling we got coming up is the Power Macintosh G3 All-in-One. You can check out Quinn Nelson's video. He made an in-depth tour and history of this Mac. And I think it's just the same as the Color Classic. It looks like an ugly-ass TV, just even more ugly this time. And I don't know, guys, but whoever designed that, it's just awful. Again, controversy coming up. I think the Mac Pro 2013 trash can looks like a trash can. It looks shit. I don't like this circular, cylindrical shape. Maybe I'm just so offended that it slaughtered the good old tower design, which was epic and awesome, to this trash can design. Maybe that also plays kind of in there, but generally I can say I've never been a big fan of it, and the more I think about it, how this should have been a Mac Pro, I mean, what were they smoking, honestly? And yeah, the looks are also not really something I would want to look at every day. But just my opinion, I know a lot of people find them beautiful. They don't find them particularly useful, but they find them beautiful, and I don't find them useful nor beautiful. So yeah, there goes the 2013 Mac Pro. And yeah, I already mentioned in my other video, I think the iBook G3 clamshell, the very first iBook which introduced Wi-Fi, which was a big deal, I think it doesn't look good. It looks like a toilet seat. It looks like something for children. You know, these children laptop for playing around with. It kind of looks like that. And the colors in this case, yeah, they don't help either. Now, I really want to get one of those one day to complete my iBook collection, but they are so expensive because they're so iconic. But in my opinion, they are just toilet seat laptops. But yeah, tell me what you think. I know a lot of people will hate me for saying that. So just post your hate down there, please. I really wanna read it. So that was the design and style category, which is of course very subjective, and people have different tastes, and that's good. So now let's move on to serviceability, and I think a lot of people will agree with me in this category. Which Macs I don't like from the serviceability perspective. All Macs past 2013, huh? Oh gosh. Let's start off with the iMacs 2012 and up. They introduced the thin new design, and to get into these machines, you have to cut around with like a pizza cutter through the adhesive. Make sure you don't crack the glass and the monitor, and it's really a pain in the ass to disassemble one of those. And even though it's looking beautiful and slick and the design is awesome, the serviceability on this is just trash. So yeah, I'm sorry Apple, but this is again, once you've proven many times form over function, and I would really not like to work on one of these, but now that they're getting older, I think sooner or later I will have one here on my workbench, and I will be shitting myself when I cut through this adhesive. Alright, serviceability is terrible on basically all MacBooks and MacBook Pros and MacBook Airs. The later MacBook Airs it's even worse. But MacBook Pros from 2016 and up, you can hardly fix these because they have soldered in everything, soldered in RAM, soldered in SSD. Some of them have a like SSD which is not soldered in, but yeah, generally I think they're terrible to work on, and definitely not a right step they're taking. Hopefully they will one day revert that, but I doubt it. I think they're throwaway, fancy looking pieces of trash. That's just my opinion. Now let's move on to some older machines. I have two older ones for you. Generally, Apple really likes it to make it hard for you to get into the machine, and definitely the case is that on the eMac. I had to drill out the screw, which also, gosh, ended up me cutting through the plastic and ripping that screw out with immense force and brutality. It was terrible. eMac. Also, iBook snow moles. I don't know about the clamshell because I've never worked on one of those, but I know on the snow moles, oh boy, even though they're looking nice, taking these apart is just horrible because how they latch together, it's terrible. And they're also not the most reliable computers out there, so I don't have a lot of love for those. I have one of those in my collection, but yeah, as long as it works, it's fine. If it breaks, I'm gonna be pissed. So these were the ones from the serviceability standpoint. Generally, Apple makes it hard for you, so I will not go into like iMac Intel, like the white iMac Intel, because this is not particularly easy, but it's also not like pulling your hair out hard. So the ones I just said are only like really tricky ones where you're really sweating and hoping you don't ruin anything because they made it so crap to disassemble. So yeah, those are the serviceability flops. And last but not least, what are the worst Macs you can get for the value? Yeah, I will start off with probably my most hated Mac ever built. And no, it's not the 2013 Mac Pro, even though I really hate that thing too. I think the worst Mac they ever made may also not have been a commercial failure, but the worst Mac they've ever made is the MacBook 12-inch Retina. Why that? Well, first of all, they decided it's a good idea to have one stupid USB-C port. Then they thought it's a good idea to shove in there a freaking Core M processor. And then they made a facelift, an updated version with a Core i5 and i7 with a passively cooled processor. Like, what in the world were they smoking? And then they have the world's shittiest keyboard invented, the Butterfly for Generation 1 keyboard, which makes it also terrible to type on. So basically, the only thing that's great on this laptop is the screen and the portability. But the rest is just pure trash. And did I forget to say that it's totally not repairable? Well, it is. Yeah, it isn't. So a really, really bad device. We've dissed it and hated on it enough on this channel. But just that you know, this is probably my most hated Mac ever made. Now, also ones that are pretty bad for the value are any MacBook Pro past the Retina Generation 1. I call it Retina Generation 1. I mean, it's kind of wrong, but I mean the old style Retina. Those are fine for the most part, in my opinion. Especially from 2013 to 2015. They're really reliable and nice and fast. But the ones they built from 2016, 17, 18, 19, the ones they have right now are... wow, they're so expensive. For use, they go for a lot of money, and they are just such throwaway pieces of trash. Yes, they're powerful. Yes, they have Core i7 6-core and whatnot, but you pay so much money, and then you get like a 256 gig SSD in the entry-level machine, or is it now a 512 maybe? Oh my god, for like 2,500, I'm getting half a terabyte storage. Oh gosh, this MacBook Pro, apart from it being unreliable as hell, having one of the worst keyboards they ever produced, apart from this, they are freaking expensive on the used market, and I wouldn't want to piss away so much money on such a crappy device. Yes, it's portable. Yes, it's looking fancy. It's got all-day battery life. I know, but it's not gonna last, in my opinion. I'm gonna say it now. These things won't be around like 2008 MacBook Pros are around like now, like from the usability factor. So yeah, try changing a battery in one of those. Oh my gosh, terrible design, terrible everything. So yeah, from the value perspective, because they cost so much, I think they're also one of the worst Macs from the value perspective. We go on with the next current Mac. That would be the current MacBook Air. It's expensive. Oh, something new in the Apple world, right? But you're really not getting a lot for the money. I, in fact, voted against buying one of those. A friend of mine wanted a machine because she's starting university and she wanted a Mac, and I was like, get the old MacBook Air. You can get a nice discount. You will have the nice old design, nice keyboard, and everything, and for your purposes it will be fine. And she almost bought it, and then she said, oh, I bought a new one. And I'm like, yeah, fine. Just don't make me fix it in a couple of years, because I can't, because of the T2 chip and everything. But also, I think it's way too expensive, and it's not worth the premium they're asking for. Back then, Macs used to be more premium. I've already made a video on why I shouldn't buy new Apple products. So maybe if you would like to know more on my thoughts there, you can watch it. I will link it. But generally, I think Macs nowadays are not as nice and fast and reliable. Well, they're fast, but reliability and everything, repairability, they've just gone downhill. They're not what they used to be anymore. They're more focused on commercialism and stuff. But I'm starting to rambling. So yeah, MacBook Air, expensive, and Core i5, which thermal throttles, terrible cooling and everything. It's really not a great machine in my opinion. Right, I'm almost done here. The last on the list is the entry-level iMacs. I think generally iMacs are a nice machine still for most consumers and also some prosumers. It should be fine with the right updates taken. Because if you just get one without upgrades, you're gonna end up with one with a hard drive, and you might have a fancy display and fancy looking design and enough RAM and processor. This hard drive will drive you nuts. Apple is really greedy there. They charge you insane upgrade prices, which are totally not okay. But please get the SSD upgrade. You will not regret it, because if you get a hard drive based iMac in 2020, you are gonna be pissed. The speed is just terrible. 5400 RPM hard drive. Are you insane, Apple? Really? So, yeah, entry-level iMac. But apart from that, I think iMacs are great. So I'm done here with hating on Apple, as you probably will call me. But I backed all my opinion up. I said why I don't like certain things. Some of them are subjective, some are because of taste. But yeah, generally, that is my video. So if you have any Macs that you don't like, please let me know. I would be really curious to hear from what are your least favorite Macs, and also what are your favorite Macs. Just please write them down below, start a discussion, and I will see you in the next video then.